Hello and
Hello.
welcome, dear chatters and viewers from all around the globe.
We are live. Uh-oh. Snowball, if you get too close to him, he's going to freak out. He's going to become super chicken.
Yeah, we have a special guest today. Mander actually came in. So, special hello to Mander. And then our patient is sitting right next to him and scares him. Hi, Snowball. You're the topic of today. Yeah, Mander, come over. Daddy will protect you. Well, you likely get beaten up by Cecil, but that's life. That's a cockatoo life. Yeah, you are a cockatoo. Mander
Out of
says
the
no
frying
harm,
pan and
baby.
into the fire. That's Mander, out of the frying pan and into the fire, aren't you? Huh?
He wants back into his egg.
Pretty much. Mander. It was 2 tries to get him out today. I had to coax him a little bit. I kept telling him, I'm not, your arch enemy, KK, won't be out. Try not to hit me on the earbud. Hi, Calvin. Hi, Buktiar Shah. Hello, Jocelyn. Here's Super Chicken. Here's Mander. And there's Snowball, who's doing much better. As you can see, he's got to focus on the pink birds.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to sneak up on him. I don't think it'll work. Cecil, quit hating my earpiece. I'm nearly deaf as it is. Yeah. No, he's just digging down there now. Flock's doing much better, especially Mr. Snowball. Yeah, you can get fooled. You have to take a look at all the symptoms, not just one. So it took a day for all the symptoms to come up, but it sounded like he was coughing, trying to cough up something, and that, I've heard that many. You want up there now? All right. There goes Super Chicken. Off he goes to his faraway spot. I'll be over here where nobody can bother me.
Is that Mander?
Okay, if you say so, Mander.
Having a fit somewhere.
So I started looking at some other symptoms he had. He wasn't talking. He'd stopped talking. He wasn't playing. He was fluffed up a little bit. He was tail bobbing just a bit. He's usually quite active, and he wasn't active. So being lazy, I just asked. I've got all the textbooks, and I could spend an hour digging through them, or I can just ask ChatGPT, and it came up with a list, and all those things with that coughing sound, which actually like a gagging sound. That's the way they sound when they're coughing. They don't have a diaphragm, so when they cough, it sounds like they're choking on something. So he's on Baytril now. Got him on Baytril, meloxicam, antibiotic, and a anti-inflammatory, and he's just fine. He'll be on it for another 7 days. I'm putting him on for 10. Now here's the fun fact. I've been doing this for since 2008. There hasn't been a single time when I've gone in and we've gone through all the testing and found out that they, confirmed a respiratory infection, or they've ever given me anything other than Baytril. So, since he had all 7 symptoms, I just put him on Baytril. And the meloxicam, because he had a raw throat, so that helped get rid of the inflammation in his throat. Yesterday morning, he had a little tiny cough. We did it a couple of times, and that was it. But he hasn't coughed since yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think your bird is choking on something, it might be, but there's other symptoms to look for. The ones I mentioned, the bird is fluffed up, it isn't talking, it's not as active, there's some tail bobbing going on. Look for difficulty in breathing, like breathing hard, where you can see the chest going up and down, straining a bit. That's a respiratory infection.
So, Dawn, I think we need that donation clip you made, because Lisa Banerjee just donated $50. So thank you so much, Lisa.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, you definitely deserve the video. Thank you. Thank you so much. Snowball!
I love that clip.
Yeah, I had fun putting it together. There's so many fun things that they do. It's hard to know exactly what to put in there, but
yeah, they're often hilarious.
They get excited, these guys. Cecil, are you going to keep doing that or what? Snowball, let me see if I can get a closer view of what you're doing over there. Wish they had a button that was a little easier to get to, but it beats the one from the other app, which was none at all. It's hard to see him. Oh, he stopped doing it. He was picking up a bead and slamming it against the side of the window. You getting some sun, Snowball? Not much. There's UV film on that. Snow, bird.
Lovely boy. Oh, look at these
Look at
two
that.
sleepy mulattoes. Should
And that
he?
look on her face. Oh no, he's pointing the camera.
Oh, the whole Mulatten Mafia. And Snowball. Her Snowball. They all came in just for you, so you can get healthy. We know you like the pink.
Yeah, it's pretty scary when it sounds like your bird is gagging on something. But I did the inspection. I don't have. There is a special type of oral speculum you use for birds, but I've not been able to get a. Whoa! Did you fall, Snowball? I mean, Cecil, did you fall? Come here. Come on up. So I had to just. They're trained to open their beak, so I got his beak open and looked down, and I used a Q-tip to get his tongue out of the way, and I didn't see any obstruction in there. Snares are clear. Had me going for a little while until I got the answers from ChatGPT. Yes, artificial intelligence is good for some things, that's for sure. He certainly responded to the bait roll fast. Now he's back to his normal energy levels, and I tried to keep him calm. I kept him sort of calm for about 12 hours, and then he's into playing again. Keeping him warm is important. The reason we're not outside today is because I couldn't make it to the aviary without being blown away. I walked outside and it almost blew me over. So we get some strong desert winds here sometimes. So reminds me of the Santa Ana winds, except that they're usually colder here than I used to get when I lived in California. Right, Snowball? Shug shug. Shug shug.
What a happy shuk shuk.
Yeah, she's still looking at me, hoping. I hope he'll pet my beak.
She is so tall. Especially when she stands that straight like now.
Hi, baby. She's gotten a lot more attitude lately. I have to watch who
True.
I leave in the. Yeah, I go to take other birds out of the aviary. She'll start running around chasing them, the ones that are left in there. So, not sure why that behavior started, but she was good yesterday, though. That one was inside when we were outside. I've been taking him in here and at night by himself and just holding him for a couple of nights. But doesn't look like it's going to happen tonight. He looks pretty normal now. He's still got to be on antibiotics for another 7 days. But
I'm so happy the Snowball feels better.
yeah, it's good if you can get your veterinarian to give you some extra Baytril, so to have around for emergencies. But
Snowball. Where have you gone?
well, he's back up on the window.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to see him with that. He's up playing at the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to see him not being active, you know something's wrong. So he's a busy boy. Yeah, my first tentative diagnosis was that he had got a piece of loofah stuck in his throat, but there was no evidence of that. And if it had been further down in his throat, I couldn't have seen it. But And if you're using Chat GPT to get answers about your bird, you need to go to a vet if you can. Some people like me, I mean, I could go an hour and a half to see Dr. Kenton, but he's not an avian vet. There are no avian vets close. And on something like this, you can get, if you try the Baytrol and it doesn't work, then you get to go to the vet. But
Mm-hmm. So we
even
have
if
a
that's a,
question by
uh-huh.
Lisa. We have a question by Lisa. Don, do you give calcium?
No, I don't give any extra calcium. It's in their pellets.
Mm-hmm.
And their pellets are in their birdie bread and in their mash. And of course, they get pellets themselves. I don't give extra calcium. The thing about calcium, by itself, your body can't absorb it. Now, their metabolism's a little different, but for calcium to actually work, you have to have potassium and magnesium, and there are some other factors that you found the paint to pull off there, huh? That's not necessarily what I want you to do, little boy, but I should replace the base on that thing at some point. Many things I need to do, but so if you're back when I was a bodybuilder, I knew that a calcium supplement wasn't going to help me. I had to take calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and then you have to have vitamin D. And there's other cofactors that are required to metabolize it. So, and the companies that will sell you something like calcium over the counter, you don't know quite what's inside the bottles because they're unregulated. These companies that sell all these little alternative solutions to problems. They don't usually, they don't have to respond to the FDA because there was a law passed in 1933 that lets them bypass it by just putting a little blurb on the outside of the container that says, this isn't to diagnose or treat any disease, that kind of thing, which basically means you don't know what's inside the container. So I would check with an avian vet to see if you think your bird needs calcium. I would check with an avian vet and see the best way to what is it? He's hiding himself behind there now, playing with his frisbee, and see what their answer is. They can tell with blood test if there's problems like a calcium deficiency. So, what are you doing down there? Although you don't want to overdo the blood test thing because these guys don't have a lot of blood, and depending on the test, it can take more blood than you want to take from them. So, a good example of that is the test to see if they have metal toxicity. The test is almost toxic in itself because you have to take so much blood. So most avian vets that have been around for a while, not necessarily the ones that just popped out of school, but the ones that will avoid giving a metal toxicity unless they see an X-ray that shows the bird has ingested metal. But there's calcium in all the pellets, the Missouri and the Zoom pellets. They all have calcium in there and the other cofactors necessary to absorb it. Right, Sugar?
Mm-hmm.
Sugar.
There's an update. Lisa says, what's weird is the pet shop sell calcium blocks. I haven't given Rico any, just asking.
Oh no, for parrots you don't want to give them calcium blocks. If you got them on pellets, you definitely don't need to do that. A calcium block is essentially like eating chalk, and it's not necessarily good for digestion to have a bunch of chalk in you. Most of these birds are not going to eat that much, but if they overdo eating chalk, it's not a good thing. So just if they got a good pellets, there's plenty of good pellets out there. I use Missouri and Supreme, but there's other ones that are good as well. Key thing to remember on that is that just because it says it's organic, it's not necessarily better. You know, what a horse leaves behind it when it's walking down the road is organic, but it's not something you want to give your bird. So, you having fun up there? Cecil, you've got the sharp edge. You haven't stabbed me with it yet. Trying to change the camera.
So Jocelyn got a bird cage from Amazon for $66 and hopes it's okay. I guess it's okay for Cinnamon. I mean, the price isn't necessarily indicating if it's a good or bad product.
No, and it's hard to say. In the U.S., they tend to have smaller cages for budgergars and cockatiels, but if you were to go and try to buy a small cage like that in England, you would have trouble finding them. They have larger cages for them, so they have room to move around. The most important thing is that the bird either gets out a lot or has room to move around in their cage. And I think Cinnamon gets out a lot. So right now, KK's cage is too small. I mean, I wouldn't put him in there, but he tore apart the larger cage I had, just started pulling the bars off of it. So, and that's the only other cage I have that has bead welding. And so I won't say he can't take it apart, but bead welds are hard to break. This one broke two bead welds on the bottom of his cage, on the bars that come in and out of the cage. Well, fortunately, they can be taken out, but it doesn't really damage the effectiveness of his cage. It's just that some of his toys fall through now. But he did that to a bead weld. You're an amazing bird. Someday you're going to kill me with one of these sharp edges, though, or blind me. Cecil.
So, another question by Lisa. What about minerals? I guess they're also included in the pellets,
yeah,
probably.
Yeah, they're included in the pellets as well. I don't know of a supplement that I would give on something like that. And you got to be careful. You don't want to overdo minerals either. So as long as they're eating, good pellets, Supreme or Missouri or Harrison's or something like that, you can read on the label what they have in there, but there are minerals in there included. Things like zinc and molybdenum and that kind of thing have to be included. And if you make something like I do, like birdie bread, when they're eating the birdie bread, they're getting the pellets, so they're getting the minerals from that too. These guys have become pretty addicted to that, especially this one. And Sugar has started with that addiction to my birdie bread as well.
Oh, Sugar?
Yeah, I have to put an extra one at night now. Mander.
Welcome, Honey Baldridge. She wants to know if King Cages went out of business. I'm not sure, is that a brand?
Yeah, it's a brand. Not that I know of. I hope not. I talked to the owner and he had said that he was not happy that he couldn't afford to build them in Mexico anymore because uh, all these other companies are having them fabricated at the same fabrication plant in China, and he preferred to have them built the way he wanted them built and at that fabrication plant. Which, now, don't get the idea that China is bad. The company is owned by someone it's corporately owned by someone in the U.S. Okay, so it's a U.S. company working out of China. So I know he was unhappy there. A quick check on the web just to see if King Cages are up there would tell you. I can't do that right now, but can't do it because I'm using a web-based application to broadcast. So, you laugh at me? Yeah, it figures. You would. Oh, you're gonna make a pink bird nervous? Is that what you're doing? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh,
You
poor
want down
Amanda.
here? You want down here? You can come down here if you want. Hi, baby. Come on. I know that Cecil's in your spot, though. You want to sit here? No. You don't. He's in
Jocelyn
your.
just explained in the chat that the flight cage for Cinnamon is more there to keep the kids away from Cinnamon than Cinnamon from the kids.
Yeah. Children are not good around parrots generally. I mean, there are
Well, at least
exceptions, but
one has to observe both. Only observed contact, because the thing is, birds are super fragile, so it's something different if they try to cuddle a rabbit or a cat or a little dog. But with parrots, as so they are fragile, so the kid can do damage, and the bird, of course, too, with its beak. So it's always good to just have protected contact.
Yep.
So having the bird just in a flight cage so it can be with you, but being separated by the kids is probably a really good idea. Amanda?
Well, back when we used to try to rehome birds, that was quite some time ago. One of the things on the list was no children, and that included and was actually especially like teenagers because they're semi-insane. Um, as we say when people want to get a bird who's, I want a baby cockatoo. Yeah, well, wait until they go through that period where they're becoming adults. And right, Mander? Are you sure about that? I remember how I was when I was in my teens, and I wouldn't have a parrot around me either. Although I wouldn't have done anything wrong with the parrot, but I did enough that was wrong. Wrong in the eyes of my parents anyway. What are you doing? Oh, come here. He's not going to hurt you. He's not. He's not going to hurt you. You want to sit over there? You went back up on that. All right. Wait a minute. Jeez. Mander. I have to teach him the liturgy from the Bene Gesserit. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer.
So we have a question by Honey Baldridge. Don, do you cover your cages at night?
No. I turn the lights off and block off the room. So the living room becomes pitch dark. All the windows are covered with actually it's a rather inexpensive material that you can buy that literally blocks the light. So-called curtains that are going to block the light, they help, but they don't do the job. This does. Not much light gets through. So, and at night it just goes pitch dark in there. They go to sleep in about 5 to 10 minutes after I do that. those two. So nope, I don't cover their cages. And I don't make any noise either. I'm quiet because I don't want to keep them awake. So, and I have the room that's the farthest away from the front room. So, yep, he's himself again. It was pretty concerning. And when you're this far away from an avian vet, to get to an actual avian vet's about a 7-hour drive. So, you have to do some of your own diagnosis and have your own meds around.
Look at these two cutie pies.
Yeah, he's been on Batesville for a while now, so he's okay. It's not going to pass anything on. But if he did, it would be feather dust anyway, so that's all over the house. And it's important, like with Snowball, just keep reevaluating, reevaluate. The things I did to try to get him to stop gagging, which it turned out to be a cough, not a gag. They sound the same. Weren't helping. But once I put him on Batesville, boy, within a few hours, the coughing stopped. So, and the question I asked ChatGPT was, "What does a cockatoo's cough sound like?" And then it came back and explained that it sounds kind of like they're gagging. So, I see you. Yeah, you see me. I see you. What's that all about? Huh? Sea salt? Sea salt? Yeah, you can get a lot of answers out of using when you have to deal with things like, can I give this to my bird? You can ask ChatGPT. It'll go out and research it and look at credible websites. It doesn't, it's not going to look at something that wasn't written by a veterinarian or the veterinary society or something. But I was asking about a particular drug that they keep giving to birds, gabapentin, and it came back immediately with it has xylitol in it, and xylitol is poisonous to birds. And they don't make a special compound of it without xylitol. So giving gabapentin, I don't know why veterinarians give gabapentin. Well, yes, I do. I mean, let's face it, these pharmaceutical companies will do anything for money. So Sugar, you're not done yet? I'm gonna watch her when she gets that one feather. She has it was a blood feather. It looks dried up now, but by blood feather I mean a feather that's grown long and it has a blood supply, even though it's grown so long it shouldn't have a blood supply towards the end or tip of it. She has one on that left side. The problem is that she has her feathers come in, but they don't always come in perfectly, and if you keep yanking them out, you could end up with the feather not ever coming back. So, well, don't yank. You don't yank on the feather. You gently pull them, and in her case, you gently pull them while she tells you in her own language that she is upset with you. Don't pull on my feather. So I know looking at them which ones of her feathers are going to become a problem, and I will pull them if I need to. Um, Sometimes one slips by, and that isn't good because then she ends up bleeding. So she went a long time with ripped up feathers, so she still has feather issues. You never know it though. She's such a beautiful bird. Snowball, Snowball, you resting? No, not anymore, huh? Not
Oh, look
anymore.
at
You're
this
not resting.
cute snowball.
Snowball.
Nice, no snowball. What a sweet hop you did there. Mm.
He is such an active and vivacious little bird. To see him, he's not that little. He's got a lot of muscle on him, but to see him not being active is spooky. And if I didn't have Baytril to give to him, he probably would. I don't know. It all depends on how long he could go on coughing like that. I'd have to take him probably to the vet that's only an hour and a half away, but that's not a true avian vet, so he seems pretty knowledgeable, but he's not a surgeon or anything like that. So
Ooh, drama.
what you doing up there? Huh? Looks like Cecil's interested in what you're doing. Now, the farther you are away from an avian vet, the more you have to do on your own. So
What a sweetie pie has put himself into the timeout cage. What will you do when Jasmine got the same idea like you? Oh, you already go out. That's awesome. Little guy with a toy.
they tend to get along right now. I haven't seen them get into any kind of a fight.
Hmm.
He got along with Pippa too, but Pippa's decided she doesn't want to be around him now. So actually, she's decided to go after him every time she sees him. Like she doesn't want him in her territory. She's a little hard to figure. Don't eat my shoe. What do you think you're doing? Come here. Step up. Step up. Come on. You big silly bird. They are pretty silly sometimes. You are. It seems to have happened about the time I put frisbees in here. But at this point, it doesn't matter. You take the frisbees out of the room and you bring her in, and she'll still go after him. Probably because he plays with them in his cage as well. And if she watches him, she sits in her cage and watches him play with frisbees. And the look on her face is not, oh, I'm so happy to see him playing with frisbees. But the chance that a bird is going to swallow something that hurts its throat are pretty small. The issues you have to watch for are things like the polyfibers in toys, things like that, which can get caught in their beak and then end up above their tongue. And anything above the tongue can be swallowed. So they tend to chew, and the With wood, it'll stay on the lower section of their tongue where they can expel it. But things like that are the thing you have to watch out for. Polyfibers, any small fiber that they can get into their beak, that's what, and then it'll get in and impact their digestive system. So once in a while you get one that swallows a toy. That's pretty rare, a plastic toy. I know people who won't give plastic toys to their birds, but they give them wood. And if you've noticed, wood fragments and becomes little pieces. Well, they can swallow that too, and it's fairly sharp. You take a little piece like that, something like that. If they swallowed it, would definitely impact their digestive system, and it would biodegrade in a few months. And by then you're gone. So yes, he's back there. Yeah, and I know he's back there. What's he going to do to you? Look at you? The bird's going to look at you. Yes, that's right. Toys that have twine hanging from the toy. A good example is rope perches. You have to know the bird. Bob likes to play with those, but he doesn't try to chew them so much as he does throw them around. But you got to watch them. Some birds will chew the end of those, and they can get those little fibers in their throat. And once they're inside their digestive tract, they impact it. Loofahs have that it's a sharp, prickly. Well, people use it to clean their feet and stuff. So it's kind of rough and prickly, and if they did swallow some of that, it could be a problem. So I'm not giving him loofahs anymore as much as he likes them. I'm giving him other things, but there's no perfect toy, that's for sure. What's with that foot, big boy? I see it hanging down there. Do you want to come over here for like 30 seconds and then ask to go back on the rope? It looks like it. All right. You want to sit over there? All right. All right. The big silly boy. I gotta change the camera and then gonna let me have enough time to change the camera, or are you gonna? Let's see.
Oh, what a sweetie pie. Mander. He's such a good-looking bird. Mander, you are handsome. We also have a really beautiful picture of Mander in our new calendar. The Chloe Sanctuary calendar for 2025 is out. You can get it at our merch store if you like to have the flock at your house. Mander. And with every calendar, you support also the flock.
Yeah, it's a beautiful calendar. You did a great job, Amy.
Well, the birds did the main job. They posed, Don took the pictures, and I edited.
I haven't taken many pictures, over 20,000, I think. Which I've had to mirror, which is a good idea anyway. I've mirrored it over to Google Photos. I can find things there quickly if I try to find them in the Apple. Apple is just not built for massive amounts of photos. It's hard to find anything over there. But they allow you to copy, so I copied. You do a direct copy. You don't even have to touch it. You just say basically authorize everything on your Apple cloud as far as photos to go over to Google. But there's a lot of photos there. There are.
Oh, how he looks at you. What a sweet little guy. Amanda, yeah, we know. Actually, you are the tallest bird in the flock. The biggest. But
But he
on
could
the other
he
side.
could he could do that line from Blade Runner that Leon does. Do you know what it's like to live in fear? Do you? Do you know what it's like to live in fear?
Mm. Yeah, poor Mando was kidnapped when he was a little baby. He knows that. And since then, he decided to stay a baby bird. Says my childhood was a mess, so I just prolonged it into adulthood.
He's a good bird. He's just a sweet boy. He's just afraid of his own shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you, baby boy? Mm.
But he enjoys his cuddle session.
Oh yeah, he does.
Do you get some evil eyes from Sugar?
No, she's preening her stomach right
Oh,
now.
good to know. Man, oh no, did I mention the name of an auntie?
What?
And Cecil has a toy. So much scary things.
Are we ready to go back up here because you're being stalked again? Yeah. Okay. Oh, he likes these. I think he's the only one that likes them, but he likes to peel the color wrap off of them.
Honey, Baldrige, don't answer the question. He doesn't cover the cages for the birds.
No, don't. Nope.
They are in the living room, and he darkens the windows, but he doesn't cover the cage. But there's also nothing wrong with covering the cage as long as some air can get into the cage.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You know, it's for airflow. It's much better with them not covered. And when you have cages that are 6.5 foot tall and 4 foot wide, you need something bigger than your average blanket to cover that. So they don't need their cages closed. They just need darkness. So and quiet.
It is the thing. If you have no other mean to cover the cage, then it's probably or to make it dark in the room, then it's probably good to cover the cage. And sometimes when you say the airflow, so some birds might also prefer to have it covered. I think sometimes you have to try what your bird prefers.
Well, especially if they were raised that way, they're used to it.
Mm-hmm. It's basically the signal for them that it's night.
Their signal with me is when they see me make sure the humidifier has enough water. That's the first signal. And then I walk around and say goodnight to each of them, turning off the lights as I go. At that point, it gets pretty loud. I guess they're all saying goodnight back to me. Right, Cecil? Right, Cecil? Of course, Lorelai has to have the last word when I'm shutting things down. I get the lights all turned off. Then Lorelai starts her. She has a lovely voice. It sounds somewhere between a chainsaw and a wood chipper, but she'll go off as I'm leaving.
Mm. So Honey Baldridge has another question in the direction why not covering the cages, because she thinks that it helps with night frights. I'm not sure if there is any in common. I think when it comes to night frights, more important is that your bird isn't in a big cage rather than a small sleeping cage, so it cannot hurt itself.
Yeah, keeping it quiet keeping it quiet and dark. And there's no question their room is dark. Lorelei doesn't like the fact that I can't open that window over there because I have these blackouts on the window, but she likes to look outside and watch the occasional car that comes by once every 20 minutes or something. And actually, I mean, we do what we can about night frights, but I think they're dreaming when that happens. So when I had Chloe, I used to cover her cage, but it didn't make a lot of sense because we both go to bed at the same time when I just had Chloe. I think it's important to have the darkness, but it's also important to be quiet. You got a TV on, it's not quiet. Um, if you have a Bluetooth enabled device, then you can listen to it on your Bluetooth earbuds or something like that. Set of headphones. But as far as I'm concerned, once they're in bed, I have to be quiet. So I tiptoe around and in another room with it. It's all blocked off. The kitchen's blocked off, and I only have one tiny light on in there until I'm done. I've already got the dishes done and everything, so I only have about 5 minutes in there, and then I'm gone. And after that, I don't have to worry about noise.
Oh, Don, we can do the clip again. Thank you, Jem and Jamie, and hello. She just donated $100, so thank you so much. And it's time for the thank you clip.
Thank you, Jem and Jamie, so much. We really need it right now too. So. Thank you so much, Jem and Jamie. Yeah, we have to make those bills every month. It's just buying fresh water. We can't use well water here, and I don't trust doing my own RO system. I'd need at least an 8 stage RO because people put poisons. They spray Roundup on the ground to keep the weeds out. So that gets into our water supply. So it's $100 a month, maybe between 90 and 100 a month, just for their water, and that includes the water that goes in the air. So thank you so much. Yeah, yeah. Right now we're going through 5 gallons of water a day just to keep the humidity at around 40%. So Pippa shows the worst signs when that happens, but they all need the moisture in the air, along with a little shower every day. I got to spray them down too. And the Zupreme pellets, a 35-pound bag of Zupremes, $125. The Missouri's 50 for 20 pounds, 25 pounds. And that's also used in their mash and in their birdie. I got to make birdie biscuits tomorrow. I make a batch that lasts about a month, frozen. So Don't forget to check out our merchandise. And you can go to our link tree, which you can see scrolling at the bottom. So you can go there to get our a link to our merchandise. Get yourself a calendar, a Cecil cup, and Babalu boxers. Hey, Jose. No.
We also have some nice Christmas utensils and other stuff. So maybe you find a nice Christmas gift there.
Lucy?
Certainly check out the calendar.
Are you making a statement, Lucy? Are you making a statement there? Telling me what to do with my...
She says she's the November model, so get the threaded calendar.
Snowball wasn't bothering you. Yeah. Snowball wasn't bothering you. He just came over to sit up by you, silly.
Oh, Lucy.
I see, so. Jazz, looks like you're waking up, about ready to start running around. I put up a little video today of Jazzy doing the runaround. She does it in her cage. She does it to get my attention is what it's all about. She does it in here. She does it out in the aviary. She'll just start going in circles. And then in the aviary, she'll just run up my leg, usually at the end. But round and around and around and then up my leg. Silly girl. So that's the Jazzy runaround. The runaround girl. She's the best talker here when she talks. The clearest voice. She sounds as clear as a human. And you can't really tell. You would think there was another human in the room. She's that clear, but she just doesn't do it much. I saw her one time following behind a hairdresser where I was at the time and going, "I love you." And it was so clear. Of course, Romeo's the one that says "I love you" the most. That's his way of getting your attention. I love you. Well, thanks everybody for being.
From Jam and Jamie. She got the Babalu boxers. Oh, thank you. Thanks everybody for coming and hanging around with us. Thanks to all our supporters out there.
Now you see what Jazzy does once we're done. There she goes. This is how she is when we're done. Realize I'm still recording, I think. All fired up. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on Wednesday, I hope. And we're out of here. Bye. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks to you, Don. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.